Hello, this is Dr. Chris Ogerembe here, your host on Parents Are Us platform. This is Parenting Without Tears. Parenting Without Tears. This platform is about empowering parents, be it fathers, mothers, adoptive parents, carers, empowering parents to be great parents in the 21st century, especially raising children that will impact the world, that will become world changers and history makers. That's what this platform is about. Thank you for joining us as we listen to our choice song on this platform by Ada, creator of the whole universe. What can she do? Thank you for tuning in. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Please, as you come on, do share, press your share button and get some friends invited about the program. God bless you. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna switch off the music and we're gonna hit it right where we need to. God bless. Okay, today we're looking at it's actually a continuation of our topic that we started last time, called 21st century parenting. 21st century parenting. So last time we learned about the fact that we needed to be consistent in parenting, in our parenting. We also talked about the fact that we needed to be aware of what we needed to be aware of what our children are actually watching, or the TV or the programs they're actually watching. We need to be cautious as to what we expose them to, or what we allow them to be exposed to. We also talked about how we could help them choose their friends. You understand the characteristics of a bad friend, the characteristics of a good friend. So we talked about all of that. So today we're going to, continue, and we're going to round it up. So today we're going to be looking at the fact that, that will be our number 4, that we need to look. Don't allow any child to disrespect you. Don't allow any child to disrespect your husband or your wife. Don't allow any of your children to disrespect their, uncles, aunties, or teachers, or, people who especially are older than them. Don't allow disrespect. Don't allow drama. Don't allow sarcasm in your house. Don't allow sarcasm, insult, bullying. You understand? It's not allowed. It's not permitted. There should be rules. There should be rules, and rules must be obeyed. Where you are under the care of your parents, you need to give respect to everyone in the house. So don't allow any child to insult you. Don't allow any child to open their mouth and say just anything. Some kids will be throwing tantrum and creating a scene, dramatizing with all sorts of behavior. Throwing yourself down, and mom says, don't do that. I'm gonna do that. Don't tell me not to do that. Excuse me? Here in this environment? No, baby, I ain't having that. Mom says don't, it means don't. Mom says do, it means do. Dad says it gives you a chore, because we're going to do that later on. We're going to look at how you raise your children on chores. It's actually been proven that children who are raised on chores become disciplined in life, become better in life, they become prosperous in life. You understand? They are the ones who have goals and vision, and they make it, because chores actually introduces your child, to hard work, to, hard labor. Don't let me call it hard labor. It introduces your child to hard work in life. And, life is about working hard. You can make it and get to the top without working hard. So that's we're going to deal with that later on. But okay, you're giving chores in the house and you start to complain, you start to moan. Oh, it's your turn to do the dishes. You do dishes on Mondays and Fridays. And then you're saying, no, you're not going to do it. Oh, no, you will do it. So don't allow sarcasm in your house. Don't allow. You're raising those children. One thing you need to know is that that child is under your care Number one, so that you can nurture that child, so that you can nurture them to succeed, nurture them to become whom they were created to be, because every child has an assignment to fulfill. So there was an assignment in the mind of God when he was creating that child and giving you that child, and that assignment has got to be fulfilled, and you're the one that's going to help that child get to their assignment. And you can't get a child to an assignment when the child is disruptive, is insultive, is rude, is sarcastic. You can't, because those are the ones that end up becoming terrorists and terrorizing and bullying other people. It starts in the home. You can't allow that to happen in your home. If we our parents can start correcting our children from when they're young, then we'll have less bullying going on in the schools. We'll have less bullying going on in our society. You understand? So the moment a child comes up with an attitude or a behavioral issue where it's negative, you need to correct it. There's a way to handle and correct. I'm not talking about abuse now. I'm not talking about abuse where you're slamming the child's head against the wall and you're knocking the child on the head. That's not how to correct a child. You don't correct a child by slamming the child's head against the wall and saying, "Oh, you're being disrespectful and I'm going to teach you manners." No, you don't go physically harming a child. You don't go physically hurting a child and saying you're correcting that child. That's an abuse. That's an abuse. There are ways to correct a child. You remove privileges. You remove goods. You remove, you give chores. You understand? You discipline them in ways that they will know that if you do, you don't mess up. You don't discipline a child by hurting a child, by hitting a child, by some will go and get massive they'll say cane, some huge massive like maybe long wooden spoon. It was not even wooden spoon, some big long stuff. Some will bring out belts with crocos. That thing has metal in it, and you start to now whack the child. You understand? You start to, in the head, in the face, then you damage the child's face, you damage the child's body. That's not discipline a child. That's not discipline. We want to discipline. You don't accept disrespect. You don't accept insult. You don't accept that, but you don't correct it by abusing the child. So there are ways. I've done a lot of videos on how to actually, correct a child. So you can go back to all of those videos and watch those videos. You understand? So, but you don't, at the same time though, even though you're not going to be hurting your child physically or mentally or in any way, you don't correct the situation by then you're cursing the child. Because some now go out of their way and start to curse. You're okay. Is it me that you are doing that too? Then they start to curse. Some curses I can't even say them. I can't even say them. How can you tell your child you will never become anything in life because you did that to me as your mother? You will never make it. No, you don't curse your child. You don't. The fact that you are angry does not mean you can be spirit controlled. You have to control yourself. The anger should not control you. Don't let your anger control you such that you utter negative things against your child. Certain things you can't take back. Things that you say, they come to pass. Words are powerful. You understand? Even though I'm saying don't allow disrespect, at the same time, when you are upset, do not curse your child. You withdraw privileges. You give sanctions. You can't go out. When you go out, you've got to be home by so. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do that. You don't. So you don't, especially when they become teenagers, they tend to now think that they know what they're doing, and that's okay. They're now of age, and so, you can't talk to me anyhow. You can't talk to me like that. Oh, really? Perhaps it's time to let them know, okay, if you're big enough then fine. Perhaps you can get your own place and start paying your own bills and then become your own Lord, become your own Savior. That way, you're under your own care. You're not under my care. So since you're of age now, that's fine. You understand? You can fetch for yourself. You can, you know, it's okay. You understand? So don't allow any child to disrespect you. Don't allow any child to dishonor you. Don't allow any child to be sarcastic in your environment, especially in your house where you're paying the mortgage. You built it yourself, or whatever it is that you've done, or you bought it yourself, or you're the one paying the rent, whatever it is. You're the one that is actually financing the upkeep of the house. You and your husband, you and your wife, whatever. So no child has the audacity. You know, it's an honor, it's a privilege for them to be under your roof. They have no audacity to be insulting you or be disrespecting you under your own dwelling. No, it's not happening. It won't happen. When people talk about, oh, you know, there was a video where, I don't know if it was 18, I think it was 18, sorry, or 19-year-old lady or something like that, and so they, I don't know how BBC, or whether it was one of the TV stations actually, I don't know how they got hold of her as she was being thrown out. She wasn't really thrown out, but the parents said to her, that's it, you get out of my house, get out of my house. And so she was asked to leave the house. So she left the house, and then the camera, I don't know how they got involved, whether it was accidental or she called them, I don't know, but anyhow they recorded it where she left home and she was crying, oh, my mom threw me out, and so I was seeing some comments that, oh, some were like, how can a mother do that to her child, you know, in this you know, dangerous environment, this and that, and what about if somebody should kill her or something like that? I'm like, you don't know the story. You don't know the story. There's no parents that will want their child to be thrown out. No. But it gets to a point when a child disrespects you, you don't take nonsense. No way. You should be able to sleep peaceably in your house. You should be able to live peaceably in your house. You've worked all your life. You have all the rights in this world to enjoy your life peaceably. So if a child is not going to respect you or honor you, then you can show them the doors. I won't take nonsense. There was one particular one also, that one was on the Facebook actually, where a boy, a youth, he was youth, I won't call him a boy because, you know, a young man, a young youth, a teenager, was abusing the father, was hitting the father. I don't know if it was to do with the father was using the bathroom, or whether the father went to her and says to come and do something or clean the bathroom because he's used it. I can't remember whatever it was. But he started insulting the dad. He started, like pushing him, like wanting to punch him and hitting him and kicking. I'm like, what? In my house? He won't. No, I'll throw you out. That's right. Call me wicked. That's okay. And the father was like, don't do that. No, I'm like, no. I'm sorry. No child must disrespect their father or mother. Nobody, none of them. It doesn't matter who they are or what they've done wrong or done right. Your mother is your mother, your father is your father. Otherwise, what you're doing, if you're allowing disrespect in your house, you know what that could lead to. You're actually placing that child under a curse. It's not your own curse. It's God's curse. Yes, because God says that a child should honor their father and mother so that it may be well with them in this land that he has given them. So it's a promise of longevity, long life. And so if you're not correcting that child and you're allowing disrespect in your home, a child to disrespect you or disrespect your spouse, like disrespecting your wife or disrespecting your husband, and you are allowing that to happen, you're allowing that child to be placed under a curse. Because that means what is happening, what that means is that if that child is insultive to their parents, it means that that child won't have long life. And nobody wants their child to die early. So if you don't correct that child, what you're saying to that child is you're going to die early. That's what you're saying. So you need to put your foot down. If they have reached the teenage years or the above 18 and they've been whatever, I don't, they've been aggressive, they've been disruptive, they've been sarcastic and disrespectful, then show them the door. That's fine. Trust me, show them the door. Trust me. I'm sorry. You're big enough now. So nobody can talk to you now. I am a mother, can talk to you now. Your father can talk to you now. Get out of my house. Sorry, get out of my house. No, it's not such thing about, but take it easy with them. Oh no, I took it easy when I was carrying your pregnancy. It wasn't easy for me. When I was carrying your pregnancy, it wasn't easy. When I was in that labor room, it wasn't easy. When I was in pain, crying out, tearing up in my vagina to give birth to you, it wasn't easy. And trust me, when you came out, raising you, feeding you, putting you on my back, doing lullaby and reading bedtime stories and changing your diapers. Your poo-poo was smelling. I carried it. I took it with joy. I nurtured you. Oh yeah. Paid the bills, got you into school, taught you your first ABC, your first 1, 2, 3, took you to your first school, had pictures with you. I did all that. Went easy. But if I'd survived that, if I made all of that as a sacrifice, you're going to insult me, then you get out. Sorry. Some of us have become scared in our own homes, in our own houses. We've become afraid to stay in your house. Nobody should have that. You shouldn't give anybody that privilege to make you scared. Staying in your house, coming into your house, you're afraid maybe your teenage year will. No way. No way. It shouldn't be condoned. No, and that's a criminal act. It's a criminal act. Just the same way you're not going to hurt them. You understand? Nobody has the right to hurt anybody. Physical harm should not be done to anybody. Insult, abuses should not be, especially from children to their parents. Oh no. So don't allow it. Don't allow it. Period. It's not happening. So don't allow disrespect in your home. That's how to raise children. And it's okay if you're a tough mother or tough father. That's why it breaks my heart when I see young parents and their children are throwing tantrum in the store, in the mall, and they're throwing themselves in and they're, because they're not they didn't buy them sweetie, and so they're rolling on the floor all over the shopping mall, and the mom is saying, "Get up now, get up! I'm not going. No," and they're just spoiled like that. No, you get that child home and you discipline the child. You discipline the child. Because what you don't correct today, tomorrow will become bigger. Do you understand? So don't allow disrespect. Don't allow dishonor. Don't allow this drama of bad behavior. Correct the behavior. You understand? And also, don't argue with your spouse in front of the children. A lot of us are guilty of this, where we argue, we like just fight and like, no, this and that, this happen. Protect your children, with corrective discipline, but also encourage healthy values. That will be a compass for them to guide them through life, so that they don't grow up thinking that life is all about being in a battlefield, that they especially let your home not be a battleground. Let me put it that way. So if something is going to be coming up that's going to be acting and causing problems, fighting here and there, deal with it. No, because like me, man, I want to live in an environment where where there's peace. I am entitled to my peace. I'm entitled to my joy. Oh yes. My attitude is like, I lived for you guys, worked hard, did this, did that. You ain't troubling me. I ain't gonna accept any troubling from you. So, because many people have gone into an early grave because they carried so much weight. The husband's giving them trouble, wife is giving trouble, children are giving trouble. No. Don't allow yourself to be captured by that. No, you set yourself free, set your mind free, so that you live a wholesome life. A wholesome life where nothing troubles you. It is whatever you allow people to do to you that will be done to you. Whatever you don't accept, you don't take, you don't tolerate, you're not going to get. You understand? You're not going to get whatever you do not tolerate. It won't be given to you. So don't tolerate trouble. Don't tolerate, dishonor in your own house, in your own environment. Don't tolerate that. But that doesn't mean you go fighting and anything that will create that atmosphere. Get rid of it. Yeah, and if you're gonna have to get out of my sight, get out of my sight. Get out. You understand? So another way to raise 21st century children is, eat together. Eat together. This is becoming very, very difficult in our days because, people have their own lifestyles. Especially people with small children, you need to inculcate this. You need to really inculcate this where you eat your family meals together, especially in the evening, family meal in the evening. There are some families where people don't take breakfast, not because they can afford to have it. Like we don't take breakfast in our house. We don't. I can't remember the last time anybody ate breakfast in our house. It's not that we can afford to, but we are not productive when we have breakfast. So everybody goes about their daily, day-to-day, assignments and then they eat in the afternoon. Then in the evening, you understand? So if you're that kind of and sometimes also, as a young family, your children eat breakfast, you give them breakfast, but you don't eat breakfast, you understand? But be on that table, you understand? So I know for some parents, that can be difficult because you put them on the table, you give them the, Cocoa Pops or whatever, their cornflakes or whatever, and they're eating, or their Weetabix or toast and tea, they're eating it. So you use that time to do other things. Some mothers, that's when they go, that's the time they spend to go and have their own bath. They bathe the children, then they put the children on the dining table, pray with them, give them the food, and they dash up to go and bath and get dressed. By the time the children finish breakfast, they get downstairs or whatever, and they get the children, they pray and they go. So but at least the evening meal, everybody gets home in the evening, everybody is tired, everybody is hungry, so you should be able to have that meal together, especially those with younger children. When you begin to have adult children who come home different times, maybe they're working, there's some 20 or whatever, or 20 plus children that you have at home, but they have their own lives they're working, or they have their own assignments they're pursuing, they have their vision they're pursuing, so they don't get home in 7-8 p.m. that you have to eat, and then so when your family is still young, you need to be able to do this. But with those whose family are not young, maybe Sunday meal or some kind of weekend meals, have it together where you cook something and everybody eats the same thing on the dining table, and you use that time to gel and to chill and to talk and to chat, you understand? So it may sound simple and all of that, but research has actually proved that there's a strong link between sharing family meals and the emotional health of your kids. You emotionally, they're healthy when you share your meals together. You sit down around the table, you reconnect with food and laughter. It goes a long way. It gives them a very strong emotional stability, you understand? Another thing we need to do as parents is to teach family history. I've mentioned this before. Teach your family history. The most important thing parents can do to create emotional stability in their children is to teach them their family history. I teach my family history. I talk to my children. My father was this, my mom this, my siblings, my this. This was what happened when this happened in this. Those are the things that I know. I teach them about my family. What I know about my family, I teach them. So you pour it. So that way, they know who they are. They know where they've come from. You understand? For instance, in our family, we tend to be big. And I've told that my family history to my children. My grandmother, my great-great-grandmother was big. My grandmother was big. My mother was big. I was big. So they get so that way they don't break down emotionally over their weight, where they know, oh, so this is hereditary as well. Okay, it's a family thing where people are normally, and in those days with my own grandparents, they used to think it was as a result of wealth, that anyone who was big, bees was as a result of wealth. And so they derived pride and pleasure in it. That, all right, it's evidence that they have money. It's evidence that, they're well to do. It's evidence that they're not poor. You understand? Because when you have money, you eat good, you eat well, and you kind of big. You understand? So, so to them, it was a thing of pride. It was a thing of, where they felt, they were all that. But in this day and age, carrying enormous weight is not healthy. It's not healthy. So it's not. It doesn't prove that you are wealthy. It doesn't prove that you're rich. By being overweight does not prove that you're wealthy. No. So but that way they know. I see. So they know it's a family thing. It's not because God didn't like me, he created me this way. No. But then you then work on it. You work on your health. You work on how to not eat food that will affect you and make you put on weight. You start to work on it. So understand. So I teach that. I tell them that. I tell them that I tell them what things were like. The things that as my family what they had, but things that we could deal with in the spiritual realm. I already dealt with a lot of things in the spiritual realm where my family carried this gene, and they carry this where people have been known to have this kind of disease, but I use the blood of Jesus and the name of Jesus and the authority that I have as a believer to stop that, so that it does not come to me, doesn't come to my children, it doesn't come near me. There's some stuff that answer to the spiritual realm, so you deal with those in the spiritual realm. You understand? So I talk to them about that. So what is your own family history? Where are you from? What genes do you carry? What's peculiar about your family? Are they usually very slim or skinny? Were they farmers? Were they hunters? Were they entrepreneurs? Were they business minded? Are you from a business minded lineage, or was it that your family used to be ridden in poverty, but now look what God has done? You understand? So you teach them. What was your father doing? What did he do as a profession or as a trade? What did your mother do as a trade, as a profession? How many children did your great-grandmother have, great-grandfather have? What were they? What did they do? Or and what are their names? Where are they now? Can they call your do they have access to your children? Do they know their family lineage? Do they know their cousins, their aunties, their uncles? Do they know their nephews? You understand? Teach them. Don't live a life of loneliness. Don't live a what do you call it? a life where it's just you, your husband, or your wife, and your children. Nobody else. Everybody else is outside your circle. What happens to your sisters, your brothers, your siblings? Whatever happens to your mother's siblings, your father's siblings? What about your uncles, your auntie? Take your children to go and meet with their relatives. Come on, don't live a life of loneliness. A life in isolation. You understand? A mediocre life. Don't live that kind of a life where the only people your children know they're just you and the church people. The church people are not there. They're not their family members. The church people, you have your own family members who really are your blood, your own blood. Let your children, expose your children to them. Take them on a trip. Make that journey to your sister's house, to your brother's house, to your uncle's house, to your auntie's house. Make that journey to your village. Introduce them. Let them see your father's house. Yes, it may be wretched. It may be what's it called? Buka. What is it? It may be something made with mud. So what? Let them see it. Let them see where you came from. You understand? Take them to your root. Expose your children to your roots. Don't be ashamed of your root. That was who you were. That's where you came from. You can't detach yourself from your root. You cannot detach yourself from your foundation. You can't detach yourself from you can't disconnect yourself from your root. You understand? So take them to where you came from. Introduce them to where you're from, your father, your mother, everybody around you, and let them have that feel. They need it, because why? Everything is pulled by their foundation. Everything is pulled by their source. Your source, you would always be pulled towards your source. So your children will be craving to really, nowadays, are you hearing about all this African American? They're now starting to go back to their roots. TD Jakes has connected back to Igbo land and said they're now doing DNA tests. They're now doing tests to find out where they're from. What's this comedian guy? He's traced himself back to Ghana, and he was born in America. You understand? They're tracing themselves, because your source will always cry out for you. Introduce your children to your family. Don't deter them and don't deprive them. Finally, please pray for your children. Pray for your children. As you pray for them. Giving your children a foundation of faith will help them to weather the storms of life. It will give them a solid foundation in life. And then love them. Love everybody in your family. Love your husband. Love your wife. Love your children. Don't love one child more than the other. We give them the same love and show them the same level of love. Don't some parents will really make it obvious that they dislike and despise one child and they love the other. That's a crime. That's a crime. You don't create that environment for yourself and your family, because those children must grow up loving each other and watching out, because one day you won't be there again and you're going to leave them here in this world. Don't create enmity or any form of acrimony between them. Hey, I love you. Dr. Chris Ogedengbe, this is your host here on Parenting Without Tears. I hope that you've been blessed today and that we've been a blessing to you. Hey, if you have any if you need any help at all in any way, reach out to us. We're always right there. We're not far away from you, and we know that God will help us to be a blessing to you in any way. Don't suffer alone. I've often said, don't suffer alone. Don't suffer alone. If you need a shoulder to cry on, just reach out to us. God bless you. Dr. Chris Ogedengbe on Parenting Without Tears. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you, everyone that's tuning. Please press the share button, share it to other parents so that all your friends would have access to it. Those of you watching us on YouTube, please press that bell button so that each time we upload a video, you'll be able to be notified of that video. I love you. I appreciate you. Till I come your way again next time, Dr. Chris Ogedengbe. God bless you. Do have a good day. Have a good life. Have a good weekend and enjoy yourself. God bless you. Bye.